Hi crafty friends, this is card number 11 in Full Deck Challenge 3. The prompts were black and white, so I have these black and white papers from a scrapbook paper pad. I also have my postage stamps, which are my constant item. You'll notice I have blurred out one of the stamps. I did realize while I was creating this video that it could possibly be offensive to some, so although I use it, I do cover it up halfway through the video. My carryover item from my previous card will be the book page, the one that is around my sentiments. Another prompt for this week was a stencil. I'm going to use this one, and then also a bright color. I have got this fuchsia, which is the Ken Oliver watercolor powder. A lot of prompts for this week. We also had the texture paste. We're now in the next few cards going to start developing our mixed media techniques. Sticking to our overall theme of mini collage, we're first going to create the mini collage on the card face. I'm going to do this all with my black and white papers. I'm going to cut little pieces and just put them together, trying not to overthink it and trying to use different shapes and sizes. This is also where I'm going to use the book page, which is my carryover item. And I'm going to try really hard to remember to leave one corner open that shows that it actually is a playing card. This is not mandatory though. It's a challenge I've set for myself because I tend to cover everything up. I'm trying to balance out the darker and the lighter papers so I can create lots of contrast. And before I overthink it too much, I'm just going to start gluing down. I'm gluing my pieces down with Mod Podge. If you don't have anything black and white to use, you can create your own. Just use plain white paper and make black marks with a pen or a marker or even black paint. You could do the same using a black piece of paper or cardstock and make marks with a white-out marker or a white Posca pen. I'm also adding a layer of Mod Podge over each piece of collage that I'm putting down. This is to waterproof it because I am going to add the texture paste and then the watercolor powder later, and I don't want everything to get all soggy. For this card, I used my postage stamps as part of the background. They weren't going to be a focal point. I've dried everything well and I've trimmed off the excess. This is where I decided to cover up that stamp. One more run with the dryer to make sure that all the Mod Podge is nice and dry, and now I'm going to do my stenciling. Placing the stencil over my card, I'm going to use a small palette knife and press my texture paste over the stencil. Normally I don't cover everything. For this one I'm covering most of the card. If you don't have texture paste, you can add a little bit of corn flour or baby powder to your gesso if you have any of that. And once that's all dry, we're going to add our color. I'm going to add a small amount of the watercolor powder and then I'm going to spray it with my spray water bottle. I'm going to move the card around so that the watery color can move in between the grooves of that texture paste. We don't want a flat, even color. If you don't have these watercolor powders, that's fine too. You can get the same effect with watered down acrylic paint or watercolors that are in a tube or in a pan. I have the star die cut that I want to use as my focal point, and then I've gone through my Essentials by Marlene die cut book and picked out all these little pink circles or bubbles that I think are really cute and match my theme, and I'll see now where I'm going to place them. I also have this really cute die cut that has the word awesome in black, which I think suits my theme. I'm going to add that. I'm trying a few others, but I stick to the one that says awesome. To make my black star pop out a little bit more, I'm going to add a white background to it. So I'm going to stick it onto a piece of white paper, and then I'm going to cut around it, leaving a few millimeters all the way around to sort of frame it. And then you'll see when I place it down on my card, it actually makes a really big difference. It makes it stand out so much better. I'm going to start sticking down those little pink circles. I'm using a clear craft glue for this. If you don't have any special die cuts, you can make little die cuts. You can make little spots or dots. You can also cut things from magazines. You don't need to have fancy stuff, and I always encourage to use what you have. Don't be afraid to cut things in half and put them on the edge of your page. I often do this with die cuts and elements. For next week's card, the prompts are holes and drippy paint. and you can all choose whatever color you want to choose. It's free choice next week when it comes to color. It is never too late to join in the full deck challenge. You can join at any time. You can start on any deck and with any card. I will put a link to the playlists in the description box below. And if you're on Facebook, you can join my group. Just search Full Deck Challenge Group. I want to add a few more pink spots. So I'm going to use my hole punch and I'm going to punch some holes in that pink. And then I'm going to use the circles from my hole punch and stick those randomly just here and there to create some more balance. Now you'll notice the texture paste for Stencil that we created is just in the background. It's creating a beautiful effect in the background. It doesn't have to be a focal point. It's added interest and dimension to the background of our art piece. I'm going to use my black watercolor pencil. I'm going to dip the point in some water and then just use the lead that's wet all the way around the edge of the card. This is a very subtle difference or subtle change, but I really feel this finishes the card off and creates a really good contrast and also helps connect to that black star focal point. I really hope you enjoyed this card number 11 in this Full Deck Challenge 3 and were inspired to create your own. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch. Don't forget to subscribe and then hit the little bell so you're notified every time I upload new content. Thanks again for watching. Happy creating, and I'll see you again soon. Bye.